Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AfterBuzz TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AfterBuzz TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey, how to get away with murder fans. Welcome to the AfterBuzz TV After Show. Unfortunately, Jillian is not here with us tonight. She's not feeling well, but we all wish her the best. Speedy recovery. Fear not, though. We've got the rest of the panel here.
Yeah.
Holding it down.
Yeah.
Holding it down, right?
Yeah, let's get through the lines. Stacy?
What's up, guys? It's Stacy Ike. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace. Can't wait to hear what you had to say about this episode.
Hey guys, I'm Sterling, and you can find me at Sterling Cates.
Awesome. I'm JB. I'll be your lead host tonight. You guys can find me at Hey John Blake. Crazy episode.
I know.
Seriously.
Yeah.
We found out so much.
Yeah.
Just information
I know.
overload.
Especially at the end. I mean, they've done that a couple times where they just like load up the back of the episode and
the
it's just like
last.
fire.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. It's the penultimate finale episode.
Right.
So we got a lot.
Can you believe it?
I don't
Yeah.
like that it's only one more episode. I'm like, this is one of the shows that I really, really enjoyed this season.
That
so,
Viola contract, you know?
Yeah.
She's like, and we're done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Did I kill everybody?
Gotta make
Is
some
everybody
movies.
happy?
Gotta make
Cool.
some movies right now.
Gotta go.
Well, yeah, this episode is entitled There's My Baby. It's episode 14. We obviously get that answer. We can talk about that first. Her baby, who remains nameless still, we saw it coming because it's all a flashback. We know she doesn't actually have a kid. Gets killed in the car crash. She's hit by a person that runs a red light and does not survive the C-section that needs to be.
That whole storyline was just so sad.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to watch.
Yeah.
Because of the whole conversation that she had with Eve just before then about not being sure if she was ready for a kid or not being sure if she wanted a kid.
Yeah.
But then we kind of felt like she did want it finally.
Right.
And she was ready. And then obviously that happened, and that was just really emotional.
Yeah, I sort of saw, I mean, her whole, like, mantra change with how compassionate she was with Rose, how, like, I mean, that's a very different Annalise than we've seen in all the other episodes. We've seen, like, the ruthless, like, do anything to win the case Annalise, and this one was, like, kind of bending the rules, even ready to lose because of how she felt for Rose.
But the thing is, when she was talking to Wes about, like, I wanted to win so much, is that really what it was? Because her clients suck. Like, they're not good people. So why did she want to win that much? Is it her, or was it for them because they were dangerous? Like, why was that?
I think it was because this was a while back, so it was at the beginning of her career as a lawyer, so I think this would have been a big victory
Deal
for
for
her.
her. Okay.
Yeah, so I think that ambition was still there even that many years ahead of time, and I mean, we see now, even to this day, she's willing to do
Right.
Yes,
whatever it
and-
takes to
whatever it
win.
takes.
Yeah.
That's putting it lightly.
Yeah. And I think that she has lived with that guilt of seeing someone kill themselves, whether it was her fault or not. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't blame yourself for someone else killing themselves.
Right.
But it's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that incident could kind of affect who she becomes. I think seeing someone point blank, like, stab themselves in the neck.
Which we saw again 4 times this
I
episode.
know.
I mean,
like,
even
we've already lived through this.
You know, I kind of feel like that was a representation of how Annalise feels. Like, I'm even desensitized to it because, like, by the 3rd time it showed up, I was like, we're doing this again?
Yeah.
Like,
No offense, Kelsey. Like,
yeah, I mean, clearly, very graphic
Powerful
still.
story.
But,
She's
you know,
very graphic,
again,
yeah.
when you expose yourself to that time and time again, it becomes less impactful. I think.
Right. That's very true.
What did you
Yeah.
guys think of the scene, of the actual hospital scene when they say the baby's dead?
So we talked a lot off screen. I thought it was really interesting. You guys have to tweet us when you kind of hear what we thought in terms of, like, the way that they gave, you know, Annalise her
deceased baby.
Yes, and JB was saying he doesn't think that's how it really goes in the hospital. There's no way that you would give that attachment. Sterling kind of agree, but then
Right.
we
talked about
saying-
upon further reflection,
Right.
I can see where they would give the couple the choice. I mean, I definitely still stand by the fact that I don't think they just like wrap it up and say like here.
Yeah, because they really didn't ask her. Yeah,
you're right. It's interesting because I mean, obviously, none of us are parents that know us, so we don't know like the exact.
You don't know.
Hey, John Blake, are you a dad? I don't know. I don't think so. All right. Anyway, we'll talk about it later.
Right. As his kids are watching.
But on a more serious note, yeah, you're like, wait, what, Dad?
That you said you were going.
Change name from Mahoney.
That's why you changed your Twitter handle.
Yep, my real name's Wallace.
Okay, well,
creepy.
Okay, on a more serious note, though.
Serious.
I'm just not educated on what that process is like when you lose a child that's that far along or whatever. And I feel like when it is documented in movies, it's always that emotional scene like you lost the baby and then that's it.
Yeah.
We don't see them, it was just really interesting to see them immediately hand off the baby to her and
take the picture.
Yeah, and oh man, that was so awkward.
So
it's
emotional
just like
to watch.
creating that bond, that mother-son-child bond when it's not alive. It was very emotional to watch. It was hard to watch. Right.
Exactly. And that initially that's why I thought like never in a million years would they ever do that. Why, give people false hope and create that moment. But again, I think Stacy, you mentioned like after so long with your child, like wouldn't you want to meet it at least?
I think
like,
you've got to say it's got to be, hey, like I would have loved you. I don't know. I don't want to, because it's really such a serious thing. So
it's so personal too. You don't know how you would act. You can't,
right? And that's the thing that we kind of all agree with. Actually, if this happened to us, like how to react, even when they were like the picture. And I appreciate the way that Sam played that role, or I don't know his real name, but the way that role was played, because it wasn't like, oh, picture, okay, cheese. Like it wasn't fake. It was like,
yes,
like you know what I mean. He was like, what? Like he kind of had this anger a little bit, and then he was like, and then she said, we find this. They kind of blopped that little research and. He said, okay, I guess we should. And she barely opened her eyes. And it was a beautiful scene. Hard to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, how deep they actually like went into like how the baby was like for them for like moments was interesting and kind of made it settle a little bit more that maybe that actually is what they do because, they had the photo thing. It wasn't just like, here's your baby for a second, like look at it. It was that. Then the photo. Then even Sam said, they said to like take as much time as you need. So I wonder if that is.
It sounds like something that would happen.
It just sounds like part of the grieving process, which is I just didn't know about. Right. So I
exactly,
mean,
sort of a closure thing to know, like have that moment.
Absolutely,
with. So it makes a little bit of sense, and makes sense for the episode why they did take so much time to make it a point to like have that awkward moment last for so long.
And she was going to look back at the picture later, and now we kind of now almost every episode since we've come back to this part of the season makes more sense now,
right?
Because we've been leading up to the baby thing, and we're like, well, how does this play out? And now we finally saw the full picture, and wow,
and then Eve is also at the hospital.
Eve is there.
What? She was trying to ruin her marriage.
Eve is just always the third wheel.
I said, don't say nothing, girl. Don't say nothing.
We're
both like, no. Take a step back.
Baby girl, take that red pantsuit and walk away. Okay.
Always the mistress. She's the third wheel in the Sam Annalise relationship. Yeah. Also, again, in the whole like Nate and Annalise relationship.
She's got to go get somebody.
Yeah, she's got to. I think she needs to step away. Just. If you're always.
It's so hard for me. Her relationship with Annalise is so hard for me because. Was it last episode when Annalise was like, well, I'm not with you because I'm not a lesbian. Was that last episode or the one before? But every time we see her with Eve, it's like, y'all are kind of soulmates. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they definitely have that connection. Something always brings them back together.
Right.
So I'm interested to see. Yeah, besides the fact that they're great.
They keep killing it. I don't want to say, because Eve isn't as indulged in the whole, like, Annalise Keating and that kind of vibe. Mix and the Bonnie Frank. She's not necessarily that deep, but
she's like under her spell though.
But all of them, I'm telling you, I cannot be around Annalise. I can't. Like her character is starting to really bug me because I'm like, you're too much. Your power is like this, that, there. You know what I mean? Like whatever she says goes. She kicks them out. She brings them back. She tells them she loves them. Then she kicks. Like it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, there was some binge drinking again in this episode. We saw that.
That's true. Vodka does. does speak louder than everything else.
Yeah.
Just this straight bottle. I can't believe she like pounded so much. She killed that bottle. I mean, Wes had a little bit, but he's kind of a lightweight.
Lightweight.
We just assume so.
Can't handle it.
But yeah, real quick, back to your thoughts, Sterling, about Eve. I think you said that they're like so similar. I totally agree. I think that makes them very compatible in a lot of ways, but I think that might be a reason why she's always sort of the side chick. Opposites attract. I think there needs to be a balance in relationships, and sort of that's why Annalise gravitates towards people who are a little bit more balanced and not defending murderers all the time.
Killer.
Yeah. And I'm definitely rooting for Annalise and Nate right now. So.
I am too. I like when she was like, well, Nate will make sure I'm good. I'm like,
I was like, yeah, you tell
you
me.
better tell her, girl, or tell her. I was like, okay. And then they're like, Nate's here. I'm like, he is.
Yeah, he is.
I like it. I mean, I love Nate's character, so I like that. Like, he's just a part of making sure that he's finally back in the picture in the good way. Yeah, because the last time it was a little sad. So.
It is sad. Another thing that's sad, I do want to talk about the other big revelation, Wes's dad.
I called it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you totally did.
They should just
I feel
hire
bad
me as
because
a writer right now.
Yeah.
I was naysaying that a few episodes back when I think
you
you
always
said
just trying to pick a fight with me.
You hit the nail on the head.
That theory is the best. That was the best exposure so far that I've gotten.
Makes
you know what I mean?
most
Like,
sense.
it makes the most sense, and it wasn't like, oh, it makes sense, so we're not going to do it. It made sense, and it was still like good, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
I like the potential of the storyline. Even their eyebrows kind of like look like each other. I mean,
wow.
I'm pretty sure
That
the
was
actors
cool.
aren't related.
Right.
Fairly sure. But I like how well it was cast. Like, they did have like some type of feature where I guess not everybody was off the trail.
That guy, Wallace, plays a great asshole.
Yeah,
Excuse
he
my
totally
French.
does.
I can't think of
I-
another
he
word.
does, yeah.
Yeah,
And
like he's the
Great
worst.
acting.
He's played that a couple times,
Yeah.
so like I like that. But what was interesting is when Annalise was saying like what when she was really kind of badgering him about the situation, she was like, why would she say that you won't hurt her son if she's dead? And that made me very sad because. So what did he say? Like, if you stay alive, I'm coming after our son. Like that.
Right.
Like how did she decide? Now I'm kind of going back to why she decided that getting rid of herself was the best choice.
He basically, so he threatened, he's like, if you don't testify or if you don't say that you saw him that night, then we'll go after your son or whatever. So I guess that she was just got overwhelmed and was leaving it in Annalise's hands.
But don't you think they would do it anyway? Or not really because she's gone?
Well, at the end of the day, they would hurt Christophe to hurt her, and if she hurts herself,
They're
then
like,
that
it doesn't-
why would
Well,
they
yeah,
hurt
I don't know
Christophe?
if I don't know if he would hurt him per se, but definitely
do some-
I think
yeah.
like take him away from her.
Right.
Which is interesting because
deport her.
Yeah,
is what they were threatening.
And she kind of like called their bluff and called their hand by taking herself out of the picture.
Yeah.
Right, because
Which-
then Christophe isn't even in the equation
Right.
anymore. 'Cause
Right.
They obviously don't want it to come out that he's the real father.
Exactly.
They don't want anything to do with this kid, but they were
Exactly.
just using that because they know how much she loves him.
That is
So it's
horrible.
crazy.
I finally understand because when what's Wes? Okay, so when he was like, "I've been trying to protect you," or Annalise said that, and he was like, "From what?" I was like waiting. I'm like, "From what?" And I completely forgot. And
Right.
with your theory, so now it all makes sense with the motherliness and the wait
Right.
list and the
Yeah.
touching inappropriately. I get it. We needed to protect you from your crazy ass father.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But I
Yeah.
feel like she wasn't even going to tell him the full truth until Wes said that line. When he was like, I can't even tell. He was like, I don't even believe you when you say you're telling the truth. And she was
Right.
like, all right, well, here's the real reasons. 'Cause
Right.
after she had already said, I feel guilty about your mom killing herself.
I'm glad she at least said that because I
Yeah.
wasn't sure. I didn't know what she was going to tell him. Like, was she going to entertain the fact that he thinks he did it or what
Yeah.
was she going to do? So
I'm glad she told him, put it all out
Yeah,
there.
no, I
It's
am
time.
too. I mean,
It's time.
he's obviously going to have to
Deal with
go
that.
down this road and
Right.
deal with it, which I guess is the reasons for Annalise not telling him sooner. But
Yeah.
because I feel like the truth will always set you free, and it wasn't so bad. I mean, at least coming back into the
Like, it doesn't
Annalise
make her
circle.
look so evil. Right.
Yeah, I think it'll be a huge relief for her to not have that sort of albatross on her shoulders.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was interesting that Wes said to her that just the first part of the story when she told him all about his mom, when he was like, well, why didn't you just tell me that? Because that's like not
That's
that big
not
of a deal.
right.
But then
I already thought
it's easier than we're making it.
Yeah.
Right. But then the father part is like, obviously.
Yeah, that's a pretty big... I can't believe... What a douche, Dad.
Yeah.
He's a douche, for sure.
For a very successful father who was so passionate and there for his own, like, legitimate child, for him to turn his back and not even acknowledge another son.
At least send me some checks randomly. Like, just to figure... Like, he doesn't... I understand. He's an asshole, so we can't expect him to be in his life. We get that. We get the role he's playing, but he's literally had nothing to do with this kid.
Right.
Right.
You know,
I mean,
like,
he
your
raped her.
mom has...
You can't assume that this guy has some sort of like high moral
Right.
ground.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
So
you're
it's
right.
like
You're right. Yeah.
he's the worst type of human on the planet.
Yeah.
It's not gonna like send checks.
Yeah.
But
you're
yeah,
right.
no, it's an
You're
interesting
right.
dynamic where he is like so extreme, lovable dad for one, like, you know, breaking the law, forcing witnesses to lie for one
Right.
son, and again, like on the other son, just not even looking at him, like threatening kidnap and God knows what else.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how Wes takes this
Yeah.
information because
And
we
how
already
he
see him
comes-
researching it.
What if
so.
he kills him?
Oh shit!
No, I feel like they
That's
can't
too
just be
much.
doing that every.
That's
like,
too much for Wes.
Bonnie really got into it. She was like, "We're all terrible people. That's what we have in common." And I was
Although,
looking
yeah.
around like,
Yeah, no, that was probably my favorite quote of the episode. I was
You-
like, Bonnie, voice of reason, just
she said, "That's all we."
nailed it.
I really liked Bonnie this episode, and I usually
Yeah.
don't, except for when that look she gave Frank when she was telling Asher that whoever killed Lila was responsible
It's a
for
little
this whole
much.
thing. I was like, all right, well,
I said,
that's a
"Damn,
low blow."
You can't even real low." I'm like, he doesn't even he just calm down, you know. And then saying it in front of Asher, like that could have been a personal conversation, but okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of Asher, we can talk about him. He did an interesting episode. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's a little lucky.
very interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had it in him. I mean, props to the guy. Michaela's hot, so.
Nicely done.
Well, no, he had a very roller coaster episode. I mean, he started very like emotional, kind of like bringing the gang back together almost with his admission of how he murdered someone and how they helped him.
Yeah.
And then when they were going out clubbing, you know, he was hanging out with the guys. That escalated, so he had to step away.
That was interesting.
Yeah, and then he hooked up with Michaela. I mean, they definitely teed that up. I feel like it's getting a little soapy. I mean, not in a bad way that everybody's hooking up, but you know, I guess it's gotta happen.
They've been teasing that though, like the past few episodes.
Have
like,
Asher and Michaela?
Well, like when Asher was over at Oliver and Connor's, they were like, "Well, why don't you just hook up with Michaela?"
Right.
Like they've like been throwing in like little.
I was totally ignoring that. They would like throw it. I'm like,
because to us it was like, oh, that's never gonna happen.
It seemed like it was never gonna happen,
Yeah.
and I kind of wish. I mean, they're cute, like that's fine. They're cute as people, but them being together, like, just to me, like, alters the storyline. Like, we're just kind of like, I didn't appreciate the Wes and Laurel thing already, because I'm like,
yeah.
You know, now we have all the jokes with the little puppy thing, and I'm like, no, I need to figure out what's going on with her and Frank. I mean, there's things to figure out. So it's just, to me, it's a little bit distracting, especially based on the previews. It looks like they're going to be doing a little much, you know, later on.
So she just like forgets about what's his face,
right?
Like I've already forgotten about.
He's
it.
gone,
Just like
so.
forgets about it.
He's probably dead. Don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh,
Going back to Asher's little speech that he gave everyone, that was the first time in this whole show that we've seen someone thank the other people for protecting them. He's like,
I can't believe it's.
He was like, you guys
taking...
protected me even though I killed her, and I really appreciate that. Meanwhile, no one else has ever done that,
and they've done so much crap.
Yeah.
Wow. And he's like, not even, that's like nothing compared to like whatever.
Well,
I mean, he ran over someone.
His was pretty blatant though. Like, he was like, okay, she did. Like, but the rest of them, like, they didn't even, I'm not gonna say they didn't kill Sam, but Sam was going after somebody. That's what happened. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, their first situation wasn't as bad. It's the stuff that came after it.
Right.
That's been crazy.
I will say there's something to Asher acting alone, but I think that they both would have committed more of a manslaughter situation than like premeditated murder, because it was both sort of in the heat of the moment.
Impulse
Obviously, Sam's was a little bit more physical in that he like kind of attacked them, and you know, it spiraled out of control. But I feel like Asher kind of reacted in a similar way, like a moment of rage that you know, he just did something rash, reversed, and you know, lost control a bit.
Yeah.
And to Sterling's point, it's crazy that it has taken this long because
I
feel like
it's the end of the second
it's just
season.
really inappropriate. Like Annalise has brought up so many times, I'm trying to protect everybody. I've got a lot on my plate, blah, blah. And I'm like, Annalise, you're mean. Like, you're, you know, her character right now, it's hard for me to be this mad at her because I didn't expect it. I'm like supposed to be in love with you, but literally she's like really bugged me the past probably 5 episodes because she's just like, I'm doing this for y'all. And they're like, what about all the stuff we're doing for you? You telling us to shoot you and stuff? I mean...
And meanwhile, Asher's in there apologizing for ruining all of their lives, and it's like not even his fault.
And she literally was like, you were the Keating 5, your life is over. Like, that's really what happened. I could have just went to class like the normal extras in this show, you know. So it's just interesting because I really want her to get a little bit more maternal with them than she is.
I think it's going to be better now that she's gotten all this off of her chest and Wes knows everything. And I feel like that's been building up inside of her, that all this guilt and anger at herself and all this stuff. But now that it's out there, I feel like we're going to see more of the old her back.
Like let's say old her, because I said maternal and I realized she's allowed to be a badass. That's not a problem. It's just that she's so mean that I didn't understand why. But you're right. I like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, that's what I'm hoping for anyway.
The classic Annalise. I mean, she kicks ass and takes names. So I'm definitely down to watch that again. Overall, I mean, I feel like the characters after this episode are really almost in a better place, like a more powerful place within themselves. You know, we talked about Asher kind of making a big come up in a lot of ways.
In more ways than one.
But, you know, I feel like a lot of the characters are sort of settling in with who they are. I mean, even Oliver, who's not, you know, part of the group officially, kind of realized that he's on a different path now. Not necessarily, like, fully corrupted, but he's like, you know what, I'm here. This is our reality. Like, let's live
together.
In this moment.
I don't like it.
He's addicted to the drama.
Yeah.
He, like, loves that.
Connor's like, I'm trying to save you. Like, you need to really listen to me. He's like, whatever you say goes, huh? Let's just dance. I was like,
let's dance.
Yeah, he's like, let's just dance. I'm like, all right.
When you're part of that, like, dysfunction, I mean, it's hard not to catch it a little bit. I mean, I don't think he's gonna, you know, help cover up more murders. Well, he probably would cover up, but I don't think he would commit anything.
Right.
I'm surprised he doesn't know more already. Like, Laurel definitely kind of threw a match, you know, under that relationship.
Exactly.
But
I think he might go digging. I mean, now that he's revealed this thing about quitting his job over a week ago, like maybe the Connor reveals something. I mean, that's kind of dangerous. I agree with Bonnie. I think if he let the cat out of the bag with him,
we're all done.
There's already way too many people that know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
it's worst kept secret ever.
Right. Like everybody in the house. Then now, especially with the Laurel thing at the end. I mean, it's too much exposed. You know.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many secrets, and they're all getting more and more exposed. I mean, we can talk about the big one now. Frank killed Lila. I mean, and now Annalise knows. Freaking Laurel.
That was the one
She went from like one of my favorite characters to the bottom of the list.
No,
I am not
in one episode.
Okay, Tequila makes you do crazy
one
things.
episode,
I said it once.
Because I feel like it had to, we have to. I'm not gonna say benefit of the doubt, but it was the tequila talking. Let's just say that it had, because Laurel was kicking ass all last episode before that. You know,
I don't know if she was kicking ass. I mean, she was. It was sort of a downward spiral because I feel like she had like the height of Laurel was pretty awesome. Like she was taking care of business.
Right. But once she didn't have Frank and then she didn't have Wes,
yeah. I mean, when the Frank thing fell apart, then she like got obsessed with Wes. I was like, okay, why are you doing this? And then now she's getting drunk and like blowing the whole thing for everybody.
That's gonna hurt next episode. I don't even know
Laurel, super basic.
So Laurel knows that Frank killed Lila, but she thinks it was Annalise that told Frank to do it.
I mean that's what I think he like didn't answer when Laurel asked him that, which like made it was like.
But Bonnie knows that it's Sam.
Yeah,
that really ordered it.
Yes.
Right,
and so now Annalise is like,
I can't trust either of y'all, probably.
Yeah, like who? Well, then who did it? Do we think that she just assumes it was Sam?
Yeah.
I think she thinks Sam. I think she thinks a lot of different things. She knows that like either Frank or Bonnie no more, and I think she's gonna start probing.
Right, yeah.
Like, pretty hardcore.
Probing. You know, she crazy. She will throw something
she's
at
gonna
them.
throw the house down.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, well, she actually just left. She beelined back to her mom's house. Who was surprisingly happy to receive her.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, she's her mom. You know,
True.
she's got to do that.
Mother's love.
Right. She's still, like, undeniably going to be there for her. But I think what's important for Annalise is that, well, just to see the way she left, I think that was her final straw. Like, okay, I can't trust anybody. Because, you know, she was kind of at the end point already. I'm going to assume it was the vodka because the way she kicked everybody out, I thought that was a little foul because I'm like, Phillip is still out there, or whoever we're worried about is still out there.
Exactly.
So for her to do that, I'm like, okay. But with that, knowing that the two people she's like really trying to hold on to that understand her beyond anything, that's why she left. So it's just going to be interesting to see how she comes back and says, like, can I trust you? Can I trust you? And what the hell's going to happen with her and Frank? Because they are, to me, they're like partners in crime.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. We found out that Sam is the one who guilted Annalise into giving Frank a job.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, that adds
called
up.
him white trash.
Exactly. And I think Bonnie must have known something of that, of how, like, Frank got into the house, like, with Annalise and Sam, because she figured it out. I mean, she was the only one, I think, to figure it out on her own.
Bonnie?
Yeah. Right, the truth about what happened to Lila.
It's interesting that both Frank and Bonnie kind of started with stronger relationships with Sam than Annalise, and now they're both, like, Annalise's, like...
Oh, that is interesting.
Well, I feel like Annalise, she can definitely handle her own, and maybe because these people were around seeing Sam, they kind of got like introduced to Annalise that way, and they're like, oh, well, I like law, like we can help you too, and then
got
kind
under
of
that spell.
snowballed, right?
Yeah, that's wow. I mean, I'm just kind of speechless because that was the one thing I really wanted to just.
Yeah, just don't tell anyone. Just bury it down deep.
Just don't say anything. That would have been the one thing because now, once everyone else finds out, I mean, they're going to be like, so what were we doing with Rebecca this whole time? Like, it's just going to be really confusing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So there's got to be more to Frank, though, right? Because Sam wouldn't be saving him from... Like, what's the gutter?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like next episode Annalise is gonna drop some sort of bomb about Frank that's gonna.
And we've been looking for it because we were saying, why the heck are they so close? And we don't. Do we know the Bonnie thing? Is it the sexual assault? From the past?
Know that she was doing. Sam was her therapist or whatever.
Right. She was abused as a child.
Okay. But I'm just we've been wondering what Frank's thing is, like what draws him in. Him and Annalise's relationship, like what is he saving? What is she saving him from?
All we learned today was that
he got like picked up from the gutter. I guess.
Annalise hired him because of Sam. For some reason, we don't know
exactly. I mean, it was interesting because we've seen a little bit of Frank's family. And I think one of the insults Annalise dropped was like, you're so white trash. I don't know if he was just
they
like
weren't
really
white trash. Was his family white trash?
No, I mean not in the traditional sense. I don't think
he must have done something or gone off the beaten track or something.
Okay, well, whatever it is, I guess that'll come into play next week.
Yeah, I definitely want to find more about Frank. Frank's awesome. I mean, to pick up someone without even saying anything, he just like checked her out. She's like, all right,
she's like,
let's do this. Like,
we're in 512. Let go.
I mean,
it's never happened.
It's definitely almost too easy at that point. I feel like I'd have questions. Like, what? Why? Like, I didn't even say a word to you. Like, you know nothing about me.
That's like, did you check me out? Like, what?
Yeah,
that's
there's
weird.
a line. I think that's on the scarily easy side. Probably unsafe.
She was like, "So are you coming or not?" It's like shit.
Yeah, you meant now.
Right now.
Like, what's your name? What are we gonna talk?
I'm Frank.
Like,
that's not Frank's style.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Notice she wasn't blonde either. He's never been into blonde.
Yeah,
I was like,
not his type.
I like how they play in the most random crap like that. The fact that you even noticed that's so true. Because like,
he said that he wasn't into blondes, and personally, I was like, hello, what the hell, Frank?
I was just trying to be nice, right? I ain't gonna forget when you walk up to me on the street.
Yeah, just don't tell him your hotel room.
Whatever. Give my address.
Hilarious.
I think Frank's gonna turn though.
You think so?
I feel like he will. Because he's been used so much, and now
turn what?
But I mean,
don't know,
after everything,
made it seem like he
literally
was
killed for them.
I don't know.
He's not turning. He can't go anywhere. Like, I don't.
But is Annalise gonna? I don't know. how is she gonna react?
It's hot. I'm serious.
Yeah, I mean,
she's not gonna, like, it's not gonna be.
It's not gonna go down well.
It's
That's
not.
for damn sure.
And that's what I'm really
that's what
scared
started
about.
everything.
Like, oh my gosh, when she figures out Sam is behind it all, this woman is gonna blow up.
well,
Yeah.
he's already dead, so she can't really do anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's like, so this man is dead, and we still wasting time like covering his ass.
Yeah.
Basically, like, I don't know. I don't like it. And I'm just looking at the world like, really though, girl.
Yeah, just really, we're doing that. We're doing
really.
I feel like if she had to have gone to Annalise's house
right.
knowing that she wanted answers. And she had that liquid courage to ask for it.
Not chill, which is too bad. 'Cause, I mean, at the beginning of the episode, everybody was just regulating. Like, I
Yeah.
love that montage of all the questioning, getting grilled, and they were just like,
We kicked
please,
it, right.
Like,
child,
challenge
please,
me.
let's go.
I love that.
Wow, they really killed that. Even Asher didn't do too bad. He looked
Yeah,
a little
exactly.
shaky at the end.
But his questions were harder though.
Right.
Like, they were like, it's interesting that Sinclair was alive in the last place we saw you were. You weren't at the house, but were they covering your butt? I mean,
They legit pinned the murder on
Yeah,
him.
Yeah.
and they had actual witnesses, like time stamped. Like that was harder to get out of for
I
sure.
totally forgot about that woman. And I knew it was gonna come back to bite me in the
intense.
butt. I knew it because
Yeah.
when she said hi and Asher was like, I was like, this is coming back to us.
Yeah,
How would she remember his face that clearly, though? You know what I mean? Like, when she, like, sees a picture, she's like, oh, I saw that guy, like, 14 weeks ago.
That's very true. It was so
like,
long
in a
ago.
parking
Right.
garage. I don't know the
I mean,
exact amount of time
she
it
might have
was.
known his dad. Because it's in the building that
Oh,
they
yeah.
all were.
Oh, yeah, so
Right.
she might
So she might have been like,
known who
"Oh,
it
is that
was.
blah blah
Oh,
son?"
yeah.
I feel like that was.
That makes sense.
That might have been
definitely makes more sense.
yeah.
Where do we go from here, guys? Where do we go from here?
Phillip.
Okay.
Where is Phillip now? I mean, we were talking a little bit about like how aggressive he was really being. I mean, he obviously like jumped on Annalise, but I feel like if you were doing a B&E, you would probably try to subdue anyone.
Right.
I mean, he didn't have a weapon. It seemed not one
we
that he
know of.
didn't use, at least. So it's interesting. I wonder if he is as bad as we think he is.
Yeah, we think
Yeah.
he's just trying to, like, get her
Tell her
attention.
to- yeah.
Right.
I think
Just like, hey,
they've set it
I gotta
up.
run away.
And
Stay
that's what I
here.
was saying last week because I know when I mentioned it, JB said like it's a little too crazy for it to be a complete other person that we
Right.
should be worried about, and I get that. But the way he attacked her, and then when we saw it again, I'm like, I don't think he was trying to beat her up. Like she couldn't have escaped if he was trying
Right.
to kill her. If he's the guy we think. Bow. Like, what
Exactly.
do we
Yeah,
have
if
to
he's
worry
murdered
about?
many people,
Like, why are
then
we worried about it? I think he was like, how about you stop following me or
Yeah.
whatever. I feel like it's some type of like, hey, I'm just trying to like let you guys know what's really going on. I don't know.
Exactly. Let's not forget she is totally ruining his life.
Right.
Like there are like the feds on
After him.
his
Yeah.
trail.
Right.
Like,
So he's like, this is the only place I can hide out, whatever. And the fact that she escaped, I was like, dang it, I really wanted to hear him talk. It wasn't enough to just get him in that scene.
Right.
I need to hear, because now that I'm sure he knows people are after him, we don't know where we're going to find him next.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like it's too easy again to like just think that he's killing all these people and now it's
Right.
whatever. I feel like he was trying to tell Annalise something and then she punched him in the face and then he had to
It
run
was
away
over.
because like the feds are coming.
Even the Caleb thing, like him missing, it's like it's too easy for it to be a Phillip thing. I
Right.
mean, it would make a little bit more sense because maybe he's saying like, listen, I'm really trying to get your attention. Maybe I can tell you something about your sister, whatever. Or is Caleb missing at all? Did he just run
I mean
away?
that's what I think. I'm thinking that Phillip went to Caleb just like he went to Catherine and like told him something, and then he just like
Caleb
left
went
town.
Oh my God, Caleb did it. Caleb did it.
Whoa.
Caleb did
did
it.
the-
Caleb did everything.
Maybe.
That'd
he could
be
have.
cold-blooded.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, I
think
just
just
no.
playing
That's
Caleb
a-
did it, y'all.
That's a
Yeah.
crazy
But does
prediction.
that make sense?
It
Like
does make
he
sense.
like ployed them
Yeah.
in and in and in, and
Even
then he
Michaela.
skipped
So now I'm happy
town.
she's
Yeah.
hooking up with
What?
It's Caleb.
That's crazy.
It's gotta
I
be.
love that. I mean, I like
It's gotta
because
be Caleb,
he is you know, he's like sort of like the charismatic child. Like obviously his sister was all about him.
Maybe Philip's running from Caleb.
Right. Well, no, I mean that totally adds up because he's super jealous. Oh my god.
Girl, maybe
I feel like there's also a reason Philip was at Wes's apartment when Wes wasn't there. Like maybe he was trying to gather some information or like I don't know, find.
Yeah, and like if he did go to Catherine and they were in cahoots, like why would she side with him if he was the murderer? Like, oh, you're my murdering brother that I don't nothing about. Let's hang out. Like,
she probably is so much more innocent than we think. Like Caleb might have planted that. It's Caleb, y'all.
And then took what's her name?
He had no problem framing his sister.
What?
Brought everybody in. I mean, he got the eyes and the sexy clothes. I mean, I'm sure it's got to be Caleb.
Right.
Wow.
What?
So
maybe that's the reason why they set up the Asher Michaela thing too, because it's like he's getting out of the picture.
Out.
Ooh, whoa. I like that because it just the Phillip thing didn't make. Not that it didn't make any sense because it did. It's just it was becoming like. We haven't heard enough from him. Remember when he broke in and he was like, "Hey guys, I'm just trying to like." Even then,
you guys are ruining my life.
Yeah,
exactly.
Why the hell are y'all breaking into my stuff? Like he just seemed so confused, and I think he really was just trying to be part of the family.
Right.
And Caleb wasn't feeling that, or something.
Yeah. Plus, I feel like the whole storyline of like a guy we know nothing about, super mysterious in the shadows, like killing everybody. It's like that's not sort of in the style of the show. I feel like there wouldn't be a reason for him to break in so many times and not hurt anyone.
Exactly.
You know, if he's there.
Exactly. And you don't. Yes, you kill two parents in cold blood and an aunt, and you're just like, no big deal. It is freaking Caleb, y'all. I'm like thinking of every episode that this man played us.
Oh man,
they don't even need to watch that.
Shit. We write the show
because I need to make sure. Right, I need to make sure because I'll be so sad if they're like, nah, it was actually Michaela. I don't know, like they be just tripping me out. But yeah,
I like that prediction though. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty fire.
Ooh, okay.
Oh wow.
Man.
What else happened?
And that would make sense for why they made Kayla like fall so hard for him, because now that's gonna be a whole nother thing that she's like, oh my god, I fell in love with a murderer.
Oh my god. Plus, like he's just playing such the good guy. Like he's the good brother.
Like, I do anything for her,
and it's my sister. And yeah, I shouldn't have bought that from. Ooh, he was good. It's Caleb. It's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Plus, when I think it was the last episode or the episode before, like Catherine like called Caleb out, and she's like, "Yeah, like, I went to Phillip because he was like a brother. He was there for me. Ooh, so like for them to live and grow up together and like not have that connection is a little weird."
But I think they did, right? Is it just all the case that because they seemed like they were cool in the beginning, like there was nothing.
Yeah, I mean they played with it. They obviously were close enough to get those like faked photos of their relationship.
Right. That was that was
but
creepy.
I don't know, man.
And Caleb has an alibi of being at Michaela's that night, but Michaela wasn't there, so he could have been anywhere. Because he's saying he was at Michaela's, and Michaela was saying he was at my place. But he really could have been anywhere. Now that no one, because she wasn't supposed to leave him, and since she did.
And then like even when the DA brought it up this episode, I was kind of like, I wasn't sure where that was going and why that was important. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, he probably. I mean, it's a play situation. I can play Michaela and be like, where do I need to go? And she's like, go here. And he's like, cool. I got a place to go. Why? Okay, I'm here. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah.
Right, and I think he was one of the prime suspects for. Not the parents' murder, but the aunt. Yeah. Like he was like running conveniently, like while she got killed.
Yeah.
And like they came up with another like alibi thing, but. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, he was definitely in the limelight. So if they pull that full circle, it'd be crazy.
I would really like that. Yeah. I would be so sad because I'm like, we've really been buying your crap for a whole season, like a season. Like 15 episodes of you.
Poor Phillip, just like
Phillip, just misunderstood.
I know. Misunderstood. It's that like they put him in these terrible clothes and like these big old t-shirts that don't fit, and I'm like, that's really what it is. Yeah. Boy. Like, whew, I like that theory. Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, in a way, it's similar to Wes's storyline. Now, I guess that everybody knows most things because he was growing up on the outside. I guess Phillip knew more like long term that he was related to the family and had nothing, but now I think Wes is going to take maybe a similar stage. I don't think he's going to kill Wallace Mahoney, but he's definitely going to confront him.
He's
Yeah.
gotta get something out of him. You know what I mean?
Well, Wes does stuff without protection. Like, he's like, I'm gonna just go to New York and
Yeah.
talk to Eve. Eve could have been crazy and be like, don't come up here, shoot you. I mean, you don't know.
Just like, what? Get out of here.
You know what I mean?
Get out of my
Like,
lobby.
he just doesn't, and he'll go to Nate. Hey, Nate, this will happen. It's like,
Right.
like you just.
Shut your
Wes
beautiful little mouth.
Wes is the one that you're like, if you do not catch this man, he will run wild. So
Yeah.
going to his dad by himself, not a good idea. I mean, I get
Yeah.
it.
He's a
Please
powerful
take-
dude. Like,
Yeah, he will chop you too quick. Like, he doesn't care. He hasn't cared about you this whole time.
Can you imagine a scene where Annalise and Wes walk into Wallace's office together, just like unannounced? That would be crazy.
that would be
like, "Yo,
more
man." He would
awkward
be
than
like,
like
"What?"
the baby scene.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my. Yeah. He
That'd be
really was like, I
intense.
thought I got rid of y'all years
A
ago.
long time ago.
Oh my god.
yeah.
And
And
then
if they
she's like-
walk in together, you'd probably have a heart attack.
Yeah.
It's like,
That would be really intense. What if she like comes in and is like, "We're suing your ass," and then I don't know.
oh.
That'd be
I'm not
crazy.
even mad. I love
don't think that would happen.
It's not
Oh,
going to,
what?
but I love it.
Okay, yeah, no, there's a bunch of stuff happening. Let's go into predictions because
Okay.
I feel like
Oh yeah, we've already kind of been in them.
We're like, yo, wow.
yeah.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I think while we're on this West train right now, I think he's going to try to track down his dad with the help of Annalise, or maybe not. But I feel like he's going to try to get his DNA somehow and like prove first that they're related, and then maybe after that, like sort of set up something. Maybe not to blackmail him, but to force his hand, to kind of call him out.
Ooh, I like
should.
that.
At that point, I would just be like, "Give me all your money."
Yeah,
you
just
know
dad.
what I mean? Like,
What is this?
You're a terrible person, but just give
owe
me
some
your money.
child support.
Yeah.
Yeah, the money would be cool. You know, Jimmy Choo's would be nice.
Yeah.
A nice house would be cool. I guess, but I feel like the West we know isn't materialistic
He's not gonna
enough.
want
He's
that.
So
definitely
he's
not.
like,
He's
I
definitely
want
not.
answers. And it's like, you know,
But
you just don't want to
Yeah.
check.
Like, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like he just wants him to know, like he
Right.
wants to, like his presence, like force onto
Absolutely.
I
Wallace's life,
agree.
like you made me, like you
Yeah.
have to deal with the reality of that.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's
And even that,
interesting.
I want him to do that
Yeah.
too. Like
Yeah.
I want Wallace to go down.
That man is horrible, man. But okay, I
Yeah.
like that. I like that a lot. What do you think?
Crazy.
Well, I just want to know like what's going to happen with Annalise because now that she's running back to her mom, that's obviously
man.
a sign that she can't trust anyone now. So like
Well, people just show up at her house.
Yeah,
like
well,
they
when-
just like, come drunk, like
Yeah.
knocking on the door
Well,
at
when I
night.
was saying earlier that now that all of this stuff with Wes is out on the table, now we'll see the old Annalise
Right.
back. But now that she has this bomb dropped on her about Frank, I
Yeah,
just
we
don't really
won't.
know.
Yeah, we were so close.
Yeah, we
We
So
were.
close,
I
so now
know. To some kind of saving grace.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So I mean, I don't really have a prediction around that. It's just like that's what I'm most curious to know about. But I really like your Caleb theory. I'm gonna hop on that.
I think.
Yeah,
on that
I feel
bus.
like we're all
Stacy
feeling
bus.
that. Stacy bus.
I think if the Caleb thing is true, I just want to see because when they do the time thing and they circle it back.
Right.
I love how they show us like the time.
Yeah,
lapse
when
that
they,
we
like,
didn't even
reverse the
realize.
time.
So if they do that for this and show us this is how we got tricked by Caleb this time, and like how it affected everybody, I just really want to see.
Yeah.
When we because it's cool that we found out, but I'm sure that so many people are going to be like, this is such a shock. So
Right.
I would love to see how that plays out. And if it's not Caleb, then honestly at this point I don't even think I'm excited about it being Phillip anymore. Like,
Yeah. When in the preview it said we have 2 more bodies in the mix, I was like,
the
wait, what?
tease was like
2 more?
three backstabbings, 2 dead bodies, and 1 like
I don't think I can
crazy,
watch it. I'm
crazy
gonna
moment.
I can't. I'm not gonna have. I don't have the strength to watch these episodes. Sometimes, like,
It's been a long
man,
week.
yeah, it
Yes,
has been.
it's
I am,
Thursday.
like,
this needs to be like a
exhausted.
Monday show so you can recuperate.
Well, yeah,
Like,
especially with episodes like this where they're jam packed with like OMG moments. I was like, holy
yeah,
crap.
and I think we'll find out more about Frank's past.
yes,
we
more
have
Frank's
to.
past. I could, yeah.
Because that wasn't
Or
enough.
just- yeah.
That wasn't enough for him to be under her spell. Enough,
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah, I wonder if Frank and Bonnie are going to be sort of like the team now trying to protect each other and like keep the actual truth from getting to Annalise since they both know. Now,
Yeah. No,
they
they
don't
should-
know that Annalise knows, but I feel like
Oh.
together they could create something where she doesn't find out immediately.
She
Yeah.
should though.
Yeah.
Well,
She
I
could,
think
I mean-
Annalise, now that she knows what she knows now, in hindsight, having seen Bonnie and Frank come out of the basement together, it's like, all right, well, they obviously both know.
Yeah.
And they're keeping it from me.
Right.
So.
Well, they know some. Yeah, I mean,
hopefully,
I don't know. Everybody's going off and hooking up with everybody.
Do you think
now.
Frank is like, because she, you know, when Frank was like, she can't know, is he trying to protect her or is he trying to protect himself?
I think both. I mean, it would obviously devastate the Frank-Annalise relationship 100%.
Yeah.
But I think that going back down that road and like bringing the affair and everything so close back into Annalise's life is not good for anyone.
Yeah. Can I say something really, really crazy that's probably definitely not going to happen?
Fire away.
Now I feel like if Frank does flip or something, not on Annalise.
Okay.
But once he finds out that Annalise knows and it was Laurel that tells him, like Laurel is the only person that knows the whole, like, that truth out of the kids or whatever,
Right.
I feel like she could be gone. If Frank has anything to say about it.
He loves her though, so probably not. But
I like it. I like
it
if they,
because
like,
she did
if
piss
they
me
kill
off.
her
Yeah.
off.
No, they're not gonna kill her. They're not gonna kill.
Oh, snap.
No.
We'll see.
Something crazy. I told you.
Totally. Hey, dropping bombs. Well,
right.
until we find out, until next week,
I
the
was right about the
finale.
other thing, so.
Where can the people find you guys?
So you guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at OneTakeStace. Thanks for watching.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates.
Awesome. And you guys can find me at Hey John Blake on Twitter and Instagram. Please, if you like the show or any other AfterBuzz TV show, rate and review them. We love to read your comments. Subscribe.
Yep.
That's right.
Give us 5 stars.
Exactly. And we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.